What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about GBTC for Little Clover at the request of you, my friend, my little four-leafed friend. Actually, clovers are not four-leafed, right? They're three-leafed. So unless you're rare, you might be rare. I don't know. I've never seen a four-leaf clover. So we're gonna go with Little Clover here, GBTC. You want to know what the all-time highs potentially are going to be for this. That's not easy, right? It's not the easiest thing. We can guess it, and we've got the data to do so. But it is relatively easy in a sense that this is very correlated to Bitcoin, right? Because this GBTC trust is actually now an ETF, right? They've converted it, Grayscale's converted it into a trust. So this follows Bitcoin very, very accurately, or very, very much. If we type in BTC USD here, just set it up on the index price there for the all-time history, you can see I think the ETF actually got approved in, right, it got listed January 11th. It got approved a couple days before then, and you found direct correlation beforehand. Probably some insiders or the people at Grayscale, they were aware that it was going to happen, so they brought that correlation up. So it's like a fair value or whatever for what it would be. I'm surprised, actually. Wow. It says it's uncorrelating. That's kind of interesting, because to my knowledge this is an ETF now, right? From a high point to a low point, it's dropped 23.6%, and Bitcoin has dropped from a high point to a low point 27.5. That's interesting. I would think, I don't know the exact rules, but I didn't know that they could vary that much. Okay. So with that in mind, perhaps the all-time high is not completely accurate to Bitcoin, but from this all-time high to all-time low, I don't know if this is going to provide the most accurate results, because this is pre-ETF, this is post-ETF, right? But the minimum expectation would be $1.02. Really though, because we're talking about Bitcoin here, I actually do think it would see 200. Oh, that's not what I meant to do. $207 to $794, and no, I'm not kidding. That's the actual targets that I have, because those are the same targets that I have for Bitcoin, is the 1618 to the 2272. It does not have to stop right here, and it does not have to go all the way up here, but I kind of would actually. I'm personally more in favor of this, and not just because it's the higher number, but because Bitcoin itself does like its 2272 more often than not. Now let's take it from a percentage point and see if that adds up. So from a percentage point, that's about a 15x. Bitcoin itself, we're not going to jump back and forth. I've got multiple charts pulled up here because I got the premium, right? So why not use it? Man, I haven't used this one in a while. That's from my last video. Let's see. From the current price, a 15x, about a 15x, which is a 1400% gain, right? It's about there. If we go to the all-time high to the all-time low, that's a bit further away. So again, right, this is the reason why those numbers don't line up is because this is pre-ETF versus post-ETF. So perhaps the 2272 is not the area that we should emphasize on, actually, right? Because that I don't see happening. I don't think we're going to see a 900,000 Bitcoin by the end of this cycle. Maybe something like this, anywhere from 173,000 is my minimum expectation, which is about a 3x, to potentially a 462,000, even a little bit above that, which would potentially be about an 8x, 8.5x, let's say. So 3x to 8.5x, now that we've got that in mind, 3x, 8.5x, a 3x from here would be right around there, right around 150, okay. 8.5x would be 7.5, right? And this would be like the absolute max that I would think. And that'd probably take you closer to about 450, 440. So 150 to 140, that's my personal expectation. I don't expect, and I'd actually be more surprised if these did respect the fibs, because again, you're going off of pre-ETF versus post-ETF Bitcoin correlations, right? Premiums were in effect, discounts were in effect. They're not so much in effect now, although there is a little bit of variance. So who knows how it happens? I don't know how or why that's a thing, but yeah, I hope that helps. I hope that makes sense. If we look at this on a daily perspective, just to give a quick little analysis, right? Short-term analysis here. Daily RSI's got some bullish divergence on it. Yes, it does. I do expect Bitcoin to go lower too, though. But don't be surprised if you move up to about 52 or 53 bucks, 55 bucks, something like that, and then continue proceeding lower after that. Don't be thrown off by that at all. That's kind of my thoughts for the more immediate term. And if I'm wrong on that, if you happen to close this GBTC trust above $56 for multiple days, then I'm wrong. This is the low, and you're not going to move lower than that. You might you might close above $56 and then come back down and have a higher low or something like that. But I don't think if you close multiple days above 56, I don't think that you're going to go lower than this low. I would feel comfortable that is the low. And based off of the fibs, I don't think you actually hit a relative fib, did you? No, you didn't. So it would make more sense to go lower, just based on my honest opinion. But immediately speaking, over the coming days, maybe even over the coming weeks, you crawl up a little bit. So that's that. Hit that like button. Subscribe if you want to see more. Thank you guys for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.